Welcome back once again towards a clean discussion on goods and service tax. As far as this term goods and service tax is concerned, what are all going to be form part of our discussion? To start with, we will make a specific discussion relating to introduction, legal background, followed by an important definition under GST. That would be the first topic for our discussion. Or what are all going to be covered by us as part of this discussion when we say. Now we will first start with an introduction, legal background and important definitions under GST. Now GST in-houses various topics. I'll give you a brief of every topic, a small teaser for every topic. That's all. Beyond that, nothing great today's discussion is going to be. And then fag end, we will take it up some introduction related discussion. What is the origin for introduction of GST? How it has been introduced? What are the time it took? What are the changes that periodically has happened? A little history about GST. Now, all of us know the last 3 years, but prior to that, how much work went in, a discussion about that. Internationally, how the situation is when it comes to its introduction. Followed by, there is something called as legal background, constitutional requirement. You can levy taxes, collect taxes, if and only if government allows. Constitutionally, it is allowed. So that legal background. And followed by important definitions under GST. As far as important definitions is concerned, the law is very clear. Those important definitions alone we will discuss. In total, you have about 120 definitions, but we will not discuss all 120. We will select only a few important definitions and we will discuss about it. Who is supplier, who is recipient, who is person, what is goods, what is services, what is consideration, what is business. Words like this, job work. We have a few words. That words alone we will discuss as important definition. Once that discussion is over, we will make a very insightful discussion on meaning and scope of supply. Probably the next topic of our discussion. Meaning and scope of supply. What do we mean by meaning and scope of supply? See, under GST, what is liable to tax is supply. Supply is what liable to tax. Under income tax, what is liable to tax? Income. Under GST, what is liable to tax? Supply. Supply is a taxable event. If there is a supply, then there will be a levy of GST. Sir, if there is no supply, then there is no GST. So we need to understand a very important word called as supply. Now, meaning and scope of supply. Supply means what? Whether a sale is a supply, service is a supply, transfer is a supply, barter is a supply, so on and so forth. What are the ingredients that are required for supply? We will understand about that. Sometimes government themselves will come out and say this is not supply. So we will understand about that also. Sometimes government will come out and say this is supply in spite of it. So our whole discussion would be understanding the meaning and scope of supply. Plus, sometime you would have come across paste will come with a brush, torchlight will come with a battery, mobile phone will come with a headset and charger. Now, this is called as 2 or 3 products, 2 or 3 services mixed together. In those circumstances, is it a composite supply or mixed supply? A discussion about that we will make. I am not describing anything. If you are not in a position to understand, don't be bothered about it. It is as simple as that. This discussions will be covered on this topic. What in the last 30 seconds I told is a 6-hour discussion that we will make. A very important topic. called as meaning and scope of supply. Once meaning and scope of supply is over, we will discuss something about nature of supply and levy under GST. Preferably a levy called as normal levy. Normal levy, or sometimes people will call it as regular charge. Any case, levy, normal levy. Before that, nature of supply. I'm sure by this time some of you are aware. Some of you are yet to be aware of all these aspects, by name called as intrastate supply, interstate supply. Have you heard about these words? Any of you have heard about these words called as intrastate supply, interstate supply? Yes. Can anyone text me in your chat box? Use your chat box, your keyboard more effectively, at least in my session. I want you to text intrastate supply means what? If you have heard about that word, intrastate supply, intra-state supply. If you have already listened to me, I don't want, okay, you also be participant. What is that? Intra-state supply. Intra-state supply means what? Deepa says intra-state supply means local. Abdul says intra-state supply means within the state. Vignesh says within the state. Viraj, good. Sudesh says within the state. Okay. Hey, you're all master in GST. You're all coming and sitting in my class. What is this? What? Okay, good. Then what is interstate supply for all of you all? Come on, quick. What is going to be then? Interstate supply. Quick. What is interstate supply? Sir, it is between state. Is it only between states? Is it somebody else apart from that in there? Between two countries? No. Within country, no. So there's no, it is not within country. It has to be understood as between state. Good. Great. Yes. See, you're all masters. Come back here. One state to another state. See, also understand, lot of you told one state to another state. There is also a possibility, one state with another union territory. Do we have union territory in India? Yes, we have union territories in India. We have Andaman Nicobar Island. We have Lakshadweep. We have Dadar and Nagar Haveli. We have few other union territories. Though Pondicherry and Delhi is a union territory, it's a union territory. However, for the purpose of GST, we will not consider it as a union territory because both has a state legislature. Sir, what is this, sir? Both has a CM. Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal ji. This side, you have, I think, Narayan and some nice gentlemen. So, points for our discussion is, if they are going to have a state union territory, has a CM, then for the purpose of GST, it is treated as a state. A union territory without a CM is called as union territory. Central government will control. It comes under the control of President of India. Be aware of a small information. Now, no doubt, Dayu and Daman all are there. I'm not seeing. For me, it is an example, Sashi. Good. Dayu and Daman, Dayu, all are there. One minute. Yes. Now, coming back here, nature of supply. The nature of supply can be only two types: intrastate supply, interstate supply. When it is an intrastate supply, when it is an interstate supply, we will discuss. Having discussed that, we will discuss about levy of tax under GST. Now, levy of tax means who is liable to pay tax? Sir, who is selling the goods? Who is selling the services? Is it only those people? Are recipients also liable to pay tax? When we go and think, there are situations where recipient of a goods, recipient of a service are liable to pay tax. I'm not very sure how many of you all had an opportunity to listen to a word by name called as reverse charge mechanism, RCM, very popularly used acronym. Okay, a three-letter acronym. RCM, reverse charge mechanism. Any rough guess? Have you heard about this word? Reverse charge mechanism. Reverse charge mechanism means when you ask the recipient to pay tax. When government asks the recipient to pay tax, then it is called as reverse charge mechanism. Very interesting to note. If a goods or services is liable to reverse charge, then who will not pay tax? Supplier will not pay tax to government. Recipient will pay tax to government. Normally, it is the duty of the supplier to pay tax. Normally, generally, usually, supplier of the goods has to pay tax to government. If you buy your goods from your nearby kirana shop vendor or your nearby printing and stationery store or from your nearby any of the hotel or restaurant or grocery shop, it is the grocery shop is responsible to government. It is that kirana shop is responsible to government. You are not responsible to government. But if you're going to procure certain notified goods, notified services, then supplier will not pay tax to government. Recipient will pay tax to government. Yes, Ashish, you are right. Sorry, Aisha. Yes, Aisha, you are right. That is how it has to be understood. Instead of seller, buyer liable to pay. So, okay, whatever be your understanding as of today, let it stand as it is. But however, we will ensure a better, more understanding happens. We will make a discussion about nature of supply and levy under GST. Quickly moving forward, our next specific discussion will be on reverse charge mechanism. RCM of both goods and services. Moving forward from here, uh, a clean discussion on a next topic will be on composition levy. A composition levy under GST. What do we mean by composition levy? When we go back to those discussions of composition levy, um, there are lot of small time traders and small time businessmen in India. Okay. Now, many small time traders, many small time businessmen are in India. They would not be able to do a very extensive compliance, big tax, have detailed books and records, all that and all. So what government told them is, you pay a small percentage as tax. As long as your turnover is up to so much, we will allow you to pay a tax. It is something like this. I am sure all of you would have had an opportunity under income tax. Let me repeat, under income tax. If you are learning, it will come. If you already learned earlier, your earlier group, if you have already has completed your session, then you will be aware of a particular section called as 44 AD. Yes. Have you heard of a section by name called as 44 AD? Yes. Under Income Tax Act, you're aware of a section by name called as section 44 AD, very popularly called as presumptive taxation of income. If you are pursuing any businesses, you can pay a flat rate as profits from that business. Yes, heard of it? Some percentage will be there. If your business is 50 lakhs, on 50 lakhs, so much percentage will be treated as a income. Heard of it? Can you able to remember? Can some of you say me how much? What is the percentage? Arish, super. Jawahar, 6% when? If all transactions are through bank or all transactions are for cash. India is a country, will penalize you if you collect something in cash. Okay. 8% for check. My dear brother and sister, 6% for all those payment other than cash, 8% for cash. Okay, that is how it has to be understood. Okay, you are learning, you are aware. See, till you have reached here, you could able to connect topic. That itself is a big blessing. See, a lot of us could not able to get connected. What this gentleman is trying to say. Once you are able to say, then just 6% for all payments. Don't think in check. Any payment other than cash. Understand in that way, because if you go interact with organization, they may not get in check. They will say, I got a NEFT, I got a RTGS, I got a digital payment, I got a payout from my vendor. Okay, payout from a vendor is there will be e-payment wallet, there will be Paytm, there will be mobile money, or you have so many players, Google Pay. All are other than cash. Cash 8%. Okay, understood. Subhashini, good, nice efforts. Coming back here, composition levy. Like how government gave a composition model, presumptive taxation model in income tax. Similarly, they also gave a some kind of that model in GST. Does presumptive taxation comes with condition? Yes or no? Recollect. Does presumptive taxation comes with condition? Yes. Sobernika says yes, it comes with condition. Aisha says yes. Good. Now, points here for our discussion is, yes, it comes with condition. Similarly, composition levy also comes with condition. A clear discussion we will have for about 2 sessions and or about 3 hours, and then at least for another 1 hour we will do some practical problems in composition levy. Moving forward from composition levy, our next topic for discussion would be place of supply under GST. Place of supply under GST. So what is this place of supply? See, a transaction happens between two states. A transaction happens between two union territory. A state and union territory. A transaction happens within the state. Sometimes supplier is in the state, recipient in another state, and the goods goes to third state. Is it possible, sir? Possible. Supplier is in one state, state one, not that state, no, state one, Tamil Nadu. Recipient in Andhra Pradesh, state 2. Immovable property is in Kerala, state 3. Now, how are we going to determine place of supply? Which is the place of supply? Location of supplier, or location of recipient, or location of immovable property? How are we going to decide place of supply? When it comes to those discussion, yes, place of supply we will discuss, both domestic and international place of supply. I have just given you an example, if and only if all happens in India. What if the transaction is going to be foreign country and India? So how that is possible? Very simple. A transaction happens between foreign country and India. Location of supplier is going to be location of supplier is going to be location of supplier is going to be your India, Bombay. Location of recipient is New York, USA. The place where the immovable property is located, or the server is located, or something is located is Singapore. Possible. So not only in India we have problems, we also have other foreign country challenges also. So how to determine place of supply? If you correctly determine place of supply, only you can determine nature of supply. All are connected topics. So place of supply, a discussion, an exclusive discussion we will have, followed by after place of supply, time of supply under GST. Time of supply. What do we mean by time of supply under GST, sir? When you have to pay tax, technically. We know it is supply is a taxable event. We also know there is a levy of tax, but when you have to pay tax, when you receive money from supplier or when you supply your goods or services? At what time you have to pay tax? In case there is going to be additional amount received, when you have to pay tax? In case you're going to sell some vouchers and allow people to redeem at a later date, when you have to pay tax? If you're going to be a recipient, when you have to pay tax? So a clean discussion of when to pay tax would be decided based on a topic called as time of supply for goods and services. When tax has to be paid to government. For this transaction, this is a transaction specific discussion. For this transaction, on 10/1/2020, I have received an advance of 20 lakhs. On 24/2/2020, I have raised the invoice for 75 lakhs. Now, when I have to pay tax, at the time of receipt of advance or at the time of raising of invoice. So, possible? Yes. Now take another situation. Under reverse charge take, as a recipient, I have to pay tax. I received the goods on 15/1/2020, but I made a payment to my supplier on 24/2/2020, when I have to pay tax in case of reverse charge. So like this, we have topics to discuss, which will be a specific discussion on time of supply, followed by another topic called as value of supply under GST. Value of supply. Value of supply under GST. As far as value of supply is concerned, don't be much bothered about it in case of value of supply under GST. How to determine a value? Whether the value determined by the person is correct or not. Okay. I will ask you one question. It's a general question. You can answer it in my view. You are engaged by me. Okay. I had some work. I called few of you, let's say 4 or 5 of you, and gave you some work. Okay. And all 4 or 5 of you did the work. And for all 4 or 5 of you, I have paid rupees 5,000 plus I also given you a pen which worth rupees 2,000. Okay. Now the question before you is, you have did a service. What is going to be your value of supply? Let me repeat, it's not a gift. Gift means without reciprocation. Here, I told in case you people are going to use pens, no, here take this is one of the valuable pens. You can use it for a few years. There are pens which are all available. If you're going to use one of those pens, yes. So it was straight away. I give you for the work done by you. You have did some work for me, some data mining, some answering, some literature related work, some work you did. And I'm going to in turn gift you that, I in turn give you 5,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees plus the pen. But that pen market value is 2,000. What is your value of supply? On what you have to pay tax? Assume you are liable to pay tax. On what? See, gift. Sai Lokesh, I'm very clear. It is not a gift. Gift means without quid pro quo. Here I have a quid pro quo. It is given. Now, in this background, what will be your value of supply? Just think, make a try. It's no harm. Ashwini through Arya, through Saubarnika, through Ria, just check your answer. Tax will be on value, no? Okay. Because I gave pen, no, you are all not treating me well. Now I'll change it. I gave you 1 sovereign gold coin and 5,000 rupees. Okay. For the work you did. I have given you 5,000 rupees and 1 sovereign gold coin. Okay. Quick. What is the value of supply? How are you going to determine value of supply? Sometimes the transaction will be in barter. Sometimes transaction will be in exchange. You all had experiences. Come on, dear. You all had experiences. Just think, you are dropping your old mobile phone in the Amazon for 3,000 rupees and you are procuring a new mobile phone. Now you will pay tax only to this difference. Old mobile phone versus new mobile phone. New mobile phone is 15,000 rupees. Old mobile phone is 3,000 rupees eligible. So you will pay back only 12,000. Now look from the supplier perspective. Is he need to pay tax on the entire 15,000 of the transaction, or is he need to pay tax only on 12,000, the money received? That is my question. Hope all of you could able to understand this question. A supplier through Amazon who supply goods has collected from you 12,000 plus a old mobile phone which is worth rupees 3,000 in his assessment. On what value he has to pay tax? Yes. On what value he has to pay tax? Only on the money collected or plus the exchange value of the goods? That is what is the topic for discussion. Harish says 15,000. Sai Lokesh speak on top of the world. Some topic, high-ended topic. Tax is payable based on the product tax rate and differ. நான் A plus B வருமா இல்ல A plus B வராதான்னு கேள்வி கேட்டா பதில் A plus B வரும் A plus B வராதுன்னு வரணும். ஓகே, no, we have to refer XYZ. அப்படியே பயங்கர ஹை எண்டா பேசினா ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகே, come back here. Srinivasan is of a view that on the money collected it will be paid. Okay, good. Now, sir, money collected. Navneet is on only on money collected. Aisha only on what is it? Money collected. Understand? Actually not. Actually not. Even the value of the goods that is taken over is also a value. So, sir, who will say me all this? Check with that fellow by name called as value of supply. Along with value of supply, there is something called as valuation rules. Okay, valuation rules. This valuation rules is not applicable for CA examination and CS examination stream. Both streams of examination, CA and CS, this valuation rules is not applicable. So coming back here, as far as this valuation rules is concerned, CA, CS, it is not applicable. It is applicable only for CMA students because the marks are something like that. Okay. 1 minute. Followed by post that discussion, post value of supply, we will get into the part 1 last topic, input tax credit. What do we mean by input tax credit, sir? When you're going to make a sale, outward sale, at that time you are liable to pay some tax. That outward sale is because of a purchase that has happened. And at the time of purchase, you would have paid some more tax. Now, the facility to set off your tax paid at the time of purchase with the tax paid at the time of sale. The facility to set off the services consumed at the time of processing doing a service with the billing of the service. All those raw materials purchased, the tax paid on the raw material, and then all those process, whatever goods or services used, all are used once a manufactured product is manufactured and sold. Output tax is payable by the supplier, but at the time of payment, he will check, he would have made all various tax payments for his raw material, services, goods. He can use that tax and set off with his output tax liability. In other words, a person purchased the goods for rupees 10,000 after a payment of tax of rupees 1,000. So his total bill value, look at that wording, total bill value or total invoice value is 11,000 rupees, 10 plus 1, followed by, he procured it for that money Then he sold it for 15,000 rupees. Then on which he is liable to pay a tax of 1,500. Now, how much tax he will pay to government? Okay, how much tax he will pay to government? Will he pay 1,500? Will he pay 1,000? Will he pay 500? Will he pay none of the above? Will he pay 1,000? Will he pay 1,500? Will he pay 500 or none of the above? Person purchased the goods for 10,000. On that he paid a tax of 1,000. Sold the goods for 15,000, on which he is liable to pay a tax of 1,500. Output tax is 1,500. Input tax is 1,000 already there. Adjust this so that net payable to government, net tax payable to government will be 500. A lot of you could be Ishwar, could be Shishmita, Rameshwar, and Babika. All of you got it right. Deepa, check your answer. Subhashin also. But idea is that, sir, the idea here is when some monies are collected, when you pay taxes to at the time of procurement, it does not go waste. You will be entitled to claim credit. So our first part of our discussion, under GST will revolve only around this. Okay. Our first part of our discussion will revolve only around this. 1 minute. Yes. So part A of our discussion will be on this topic. Then if this is part A, then what is part B, sir? You have part B, you have part C. Okay, so much you have. Coming back here, getting into next part of our discussion. Our next part of our discussion will start with registration. Who has to get themselves registered and what is the process of registration? All this will form part of your topic relating to registration. Now, so registration means does everybody need to get themselves registered or after a threshold? If you ask me, yes, after a threshold. But government has told if you are going to be the person falling under this 11 type of person, then you have to mandatorily register. If I need to get myself registered, what is the process? Can I cancel the registration? Do I need to amend the registration? If I don't comply with certain provisions, what government can do? Can suo moto government can cancel the registration? All those discussion, the process, who has to get themselves registered, what forms need to be filed, all are part and parcel of a larger topic called as registration and process of registration under GST. Moving forward from here, getting into somehow my mind missed one more point. I'll come to that later. Just remind me about place of supply. Place of supply will not be applicable for CA students. Okay. So that topic will not be applicable for their stream of syllabus. Coming back here, after registration, documentation, books and records. What are all documents that need to be maintained by the registered person? When he has to maintain, within what time he has to maintain, what books he has to maintain, stock register he has to maintain or not, production register he has to maintain or not. What are all the other registers that need to be maintained by a person? A clear discussion about all those aspects will form part of your discussion on documentation, books and records. Documentation, books and records, in-houses, complete information on about it. So documentation, books, records will be the other topic, followed by returns under GST. Various different types of returns are there. Those return under GST, followed by payment of taxes, within what date you have to pay, if you don't pay what will happen. So returns again, what are all different types of returns under GST, we will learn those aspects. Okay, after those return payment of taxes, assessment, assessment and audit under GST. Okay, so this part will be a little procedural part of discussion. So what do we mean by a procedural part of discussion? uh, Rules, notifications, rules, process, anything, forms, form number, all that and all we will learn. This will be part B, will be a clear procedural part relating to it. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Coming back here, post this. So that's all. Do we have something? No, no, no. We have some other topic called as a third part of our topic called as exempted goods. Goods that are exempted under GST and services that are exempted under GST will be our part 3. Now, coming back here, getting into a finality of working on all this, just give me 1 or 2 minutes time. So this is your broader scope of the discussion of GST paper. All this will form part and parcel of your discussions. So yes. No doubt we will be learning as part of our part A discussion on these matters and part B discussion on these matters. Followed by additional part which will be handled would be part C discussion. Something I have here exclusively to share. Uh, as part of your part A discussion, this is our part A discussion, which is more into GST. In fact, let me repeat it many times. I'll go in this order only. I would not deviate from the order. And I also caution you, sometimes you will come across this order is against the chapter models at which institute might recommend to you. Because of a very simple reason, in this way, if you go only, you can learn the subject in the way as it is. When even when I write a book, okay, I would write like that only, because that is how it has to be presented in a formal way. But this is how someone should understand it. Part B, GST. Similarly, your part C, exempted goods and services. Nothing great here. All these are all known to you. Okay, we are making our almost final conclusion. So if you're going to be a CA student, then it is not applicable for our discussions now. Okay, done. So that's from the House of Goods and Service Tax for you all. This is a broader understanding. It's worth learning what you're going to know, what's knowing, what is your going to be your boundary. Always, I would be very clear before pitching into any topic. First, to know what is your boundary, what you have to know, what you no need to know, which topic you need to know in depth, in which topic you know even okay, it's comfortable. Sir, can we analyze it? A professional course warrants every single aspect of all this. Someone has to teach us. Someone has to teach us. 1 minute. No? Just give me a minute. Some administrative change.